Let me know if y'all can hear him.
Y'all can hear me?
I don't know. They might be a little shadow response. Who knows?
Well, I got my mic, whatever. It's not plugged up, but it's right here.
Come on, put it down.
Mhm. Yeah, what's up, fellas? What's up, ladies?
Put it
Y'all
down.
here.
It ain't working.
Now, this is her idea, and it's an amazing idea because we both teach health. I'm gonna let her run the show. I'm just gonna respond. No, I'm be here. I'm right here. Like I got you. Like yeah, but you know more about this than I do. So I mean,
How long you been on your health journey?
uh, probably like me being a vegan for like 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So
So, what made you get on your vegan diet?
I had a fat ass. Remember?
I'm
Remember
sorry,
what I
say it
said?
again.
Remember when I said I had a Remember when I said I had a fat ass? I had a fat ass. Like some gay guy said, cool gay guy, I rock with him. He's alright. But I'm not rocking with him like that to the point where he gotta like he can criticize me on my fat ass and all that. But he said I had a fat ass, so I kinda wanted to change my life because I don't want no gay man to look at my ass like that. So
Right.
after that I became vegan, started boxing, started learning self defense and all that. So yeah, I mean, that's about it. That's about it. I rock with it. So now I'm big on learning more about health, teaching health, and all this.
Yes.
So, what you know about health? Let me see what you know. We rock.
What I know about health.
Yeah,
Well, main thing I know is I think we all want to be healthy. I don't think too many people want to claim sickness. You know, sickness is not a great thing to always go through, but it could be a beautiful outcome. And a lot of times dealing with health, when you mention health, you might as well mention nutrition because nutrition is a big part of being healthy. A lot of us lack nutrition.
okay.
Um, and I'm gonna explain to you what nutrition is. The process of providing or obtaining the food necessary for health and growth. Um, like some people, okay, some of the six essentials, if I'm saying the word correctly, I'm so
Answer.
country.
Answer.
Okay, so some of the six nutrients essentials that we need is water, carbohydrates, protein, fat, vitamins, and minerals. So we definitely have to involve those into our health system. And sometimes just because you're big, that doesn't mean that you're unhealthy. And sometimes just because you're skinny, that doesn't mean that you're healthy. You know,
Right,
it
because I know,
definitely. Go
personally,
ahead.
I know a lot of crackheads. I don't think they're healthy because they be eating pork chops and like hog maw, smoking cigarettes, and then smoking crack, and then that's how they lose their weight. So I agree with you. Like, because their body is full of pork chops and cocaine and meth. So
Yeah,
I mean that's you can hear me.
yeah, I hear you. You're right.
Okay,
Because some of them look like they got muscles and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
right, right, right,
You're right,
right,
but that doesn't mean that they are healthy.
right. But I do
They
have
got
to.
a hard life.
But here's the thing: I do have to disagree with you on one thing. No, like 'cause I do. Okay, you're right about
Go
how.
ahead.
No, you're right about how like people want to be healthy, but their mindset is so focused on taste and satisfying their taste buds instead of actually focusing on the health to a point where I know somebody right now. She's
Mm-hmm.
allergic to seafood, but she
Mm-hmm.
loves seafood, so she take allergy pills before she eat the seafood, just so she can have that taste. So I definitely agree with you. We want to be healthy, but it's not in our mindset at the same time. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah. So I think we have to get more into that mindset of being healthy instead of satisfying the taste buds. Because the more we eat healthy stuff, the more our taste buds are going to adjust to it to a point where we're going to start craving that instead of the pork chops and the seafood and all that crazy stuff. So yeah,
True. You're right about that. And that's funny that you mentioned that because just like last week or so I seen that on Facebook somewhere. Like somebody go take they an allergy pill to eat something. I know I just seen it not too long ago. Somebody said something like that. And I'm like, what kind of ignorance this is?
yeah.
The ignorance, I thought you only take that if you didn't know you were allergic to something. You know you take the allergy pill, but you gonna take it before you, so you know you. That's wow. Well, that kind of
No,
sound like somebody picking up a cigarette, and we know it's not healthy, but we picking it up and smoking it, and that was me in the past. I used to smoke Black and Mouse, for 9 years. I smoked for like 9 years. It took me to get pregnant with my son over six
um,
years ago to stop smoking, and I haven't smoked. I haven't picked up one since. Uh,
okay. Okay. That's,
yes. So over 6 years. Yeah, almost about 7 years now.
I rock with it. I rock with it. And it's crazy because like speaking of just taste instead of health, like
Yes.
that's how my mother got really sick because when she had diabetes, right? I
Mm-hmm.
was wondering why wasn't she trying to make her like she's not trying to make herself healthy. She's trying to
Right.
cure her body by putting insulin in her system, then to eat the same thing that caused the diabetes in the first place. So when you do take insulin, all that is like hormones from a cow or a pig. So
Wow. I
like
didn't
it,
know that.
so basically it's artificial hormones that you're like inserting because your hormones is like kind of diminished.
Mm-hmm.
So it comes to a point where you're craving certain stuff. So your cravings is more important than you healing
Yes.
yourself
Right.
to a point where you're putting artificial like hormones into your body just to make your taste bud satisfied. Yeah, so I mean, and plus the most unattractive thing. I'm glad that you because you're a very attractive person, right? The
Thank
most
you.
unattractive thing is watching a lady smoke a cigarette or a black and mouth. Cause picture like I don't like women doing this or whatever. It's like mad weird. Them talking and, and the cigarette falling out their mouth and shit. And stuff. I'm sorry. I don't mean to cuss at all, but that was the most unattractive thing. Watching my mom do that, that was so weird.
Yeah, I was just speaking to someone like 2 weeks ago. Well, it wasn't about cigarettes, but probably was just smoking weed. It was like, it's very unattractive for a lady, to do, even though they probably do it, but they were saying like, they don't think, what I'm saying? That's the thing when we kind of she she basically was letting me know that she was wrong for doing what she doing. She don't feel like it's lady, it's attractive. I've done
Mm,
it, what I'm saying? Like I don't have to no more. I take tinctures. So
mhm,
I don't smoke anymore. I don't smoke anything anymore or whatever. But I never really during them times I didn't think about it being attractive. It was just
mm,
something I was kind of addicted to. I was used to. People around me smoke. You know what I'm saying?
right,
When you kind of hang around the same people that do it, so that's what makes you
right.
comfortable in your lifestyle. And I was kind of comfortable at the moment. Now I ain't have it hanging from the side of my mouth. I had a black, so we had we ain't have it hanging like a cigarette there. I don't know why I always thought blacks was cooler than cigarettes.
It
They're
was.
just like, but they're just like how now people using the hook, what they call it, the things they smoking
What
now.
the vape?
Yeah, the vapes and stuff like that. Like,
Mm,
hey, they think that's better than cigarettes, but it's not.
right,
It's
right.
not.
So would you
Um,
consider weed being better than cigarettes though?
Not smoking it. Not smoking. I don't think it's because what you're using. Look at the papers and stuff that you're using. If you're using cigars, all them chemicals. I had to learn that when I was
Mm,
still trying to, take away certain things. I'm like, hold up, these things got all the chemicals on there. So how I'm calling myself doing everything else healthy and I'm smoking a blunt with,
right.
chemicals all on it or whatever. And these days we do not know where we getting weed from all the time. And so if you're not getting it from the direct source or you're not growing it yourself,
Mm,
sometimes it's not good. Like But I feel like the best, if you are going to do it, it would be like you can do it in a tea form, you can do it in a tincture, or if you want to just take like CBD or like different things, you can do that. Because some people do need it for pain or sickness, cancer. People go through things.
I agree. And I always teach people this: you have to the best cure for cancer, not the best cure, but like a way to help out your cancer is to use CBD oil. Like
Yeah,
and to use like I guess like certain stuff to rub on your body and everything that will actually like give you more minerals and everything. So
yes.
but what we use it for is totally
Hmm.
different. A lot of people don't use it for cancer. Like we don't even know about it. We just smoke weed just because we chilling. Like we just smoke weed because we like it's just something to do and all that. We might be stressed out over a job and everything.
Yeah.
Like we're using everything incorrect.
Yes.
So it comes to a point where like it's natural, but we're actually misusing everything that comes natural to. For
True.
example, my mother used to love strawberries, but she used to put sugar in strawberries all the time. Like wow, like a bunch of sugar. Grapefruits,
Yeah.
very healthy. Put sugar in grapefruit. Like I mean, like what's the point? What's funny eating fruits if you're gonna just
True.
add a bunch of sugar in?
True. It's no use to doing it. But it's just
Yeah,
like the little fruit cups that they used to get the kids or anything that always have sugar and stuff like that. So
yeah,
what's the point of the fruits if it's going to be a bunch of you're going to have added sugars?
yeah, yeah,
Like that's if we wasn't raised that way to know we wouldn't eat certain things starting from a child, whatever, that grow our taste buds. But once you start removing all that stuff from around you, your taste buds can, change. And you'll be like, dang, that's too sweet. Like I can't even eat nothing with sugar in it no more.
yeah,
I really kind of get sick.
yeah. Thanks. I agree. I do have to make a confession. Like,
Go ahead.
I'm not fully vegan because
Yeah.
I do have like an addiction to gummy worms. I don't know why.
Oh, gelatin.
Like, like I'm big on gummy worms, whatever. And I know I got gelatin, which is pork, or whatever the situation is, of
Yeah.
beef. But that's the only thing I eat that's not vegan. So would that make me still a vegan if eat gummy worms once in the blue, like once every 2 days?
I'm gonna tell you now, the vegan community gonna tell you you're not vegan. Just like they'll tell me the same thing because I still take honey. You know what I'm saying? So they gonna but it's crazy. I don't consider myself vegan. I more consider myself plant based. Now I might use some hashtags that say vegan or something, but I rather use the term plant based because the vegan can mean so many different things. Like I'm not a junk food. Like sometimes
Yeah,
vegan, just because they vegan, some vegans eat junk food, vegan.
yeah,
They,
yeah.
processed foods, all that. Like I don't do any of that. So that's why I kind of consider myself plant based. So the community, they funny. You can't be anything. I used to think I was what it was. I don't know. You can't be nothing. They gonna say you're not vegan. So if you eat honey, you eat anything. But they'll
Right,
use stuff with all types of. They don't know what all they using though. Some people are only vegan because of they don't want to hurt animals or something. But they
right,
don't realize different things that they use. It be animals in every day.
right, right. And it's funny because like a lot of people that are vegan that I know, they use
Yes.
honey and they eat canned goods. But if you think about this is the nastiest thing ever. Honey, right? If you think about what honey is, picture
Yeah.
a bee like 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 regurgitate and just
That's what I just
throwing
found
up.
out recently.
Yeah, so like all honey is just uh bee just throwing up. And if you look at canned goods, I went to this farm in Tennessee.
Uh-huh.
Like and they had this machine. Like I don't know, they look like pigs, whatever, but I'm not sure exactly what type of animals these was. But they were sick.
Yeah.
They look like they were like crackheads and all that. But they had a
Wow.
machine tagged up on it, and it was legit like
Mm-hmm.
going in on whatever this animal was. So
Right.
basically what it was doing, it was pretty
Mm-hmm.
much uh doing some doing some SA on like these animals just to use the semen for the canned goods. So basically, like what they use is like they use the semen of a pig or whatever that animal was to preserve the canned goods, whatever, like bush baked beans or what you call it, candy yams. They use all that type of stuff for canned goods because that's the cheapest way to preserve like certain foods and all that. They use every part of the animal. So even if you're a
Yeah.
vegan and you eating canned goods, that's false. You're eating the honey, it's false. You're not a vegan anymore because you're actually eating like something going in basically.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very hard to become a vegan in America because almost everything is animal based. You
Hmm.
literally have to have your own farm to become a vegan.
True, it's definitely hard. That just like it's gonna be hard to eat our organic food, like even though okay, we remove meat, but then at the same time, like it's gonna be problems everywhere. So yes, they spray chemicals on our foods, like they do everything to our food these days. But I rather turn to more plant based than I would meat at the same time. Um, I try to do my best with washing my vegetables off. I'm not gonna say it's just gonna get rid of everything, but it's the best that I can do. Um, it ain't harmed me yet for real.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do my best. If I can get some things organic, then I would get some things. But I feel like I don't want people to beat themselves up because they feel like, oh, they can't get organic. Don't still eat it because some people are like, oh, it's too high. They like fruits and everything too high. So
Right, right.
everything's gonna cost, but look at everything you buy every day. Like it's something that you don't need for real, that you can save that little money and you can invest it in your food. Like I knew my
Right.
lifestyle was gonna cost me. I knew it before I started. And I said, I was like, okay, I got to do whatever I got to do to keep up with my lifestyle because I know it's going to cost me some or whatever. It's not as expensive as people think, though. You know how they make it out to be. It's really not. You ain't got to eat a whole buffet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you really cook and if you know how to cook, it ain't going to really cost you like that. I can hook up me a meal, if you want to call it a vegan meal or a plant based meal. I could hook me some up for under $10 on some things.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
if you buying fruit and stuff like that, it's gonna kind of cost you some. But it's better than eating all that other junk. Like you can eat you can go get a bag of oranges. That's gonna be like $3 to $5. Hey, what's wrong with that? Apples, $5 or $6. I'm just saying, like people make excuses for every little thing,
Right.
but they'll go pay for McDonald's, pay for Burger King, pay for all
Right.
that, and they don't know what's in their
Right.
food. I've
Facts.
been hearing that it's humans that they
Facts.
put lately their food, and so I'm not touching it. I'm not touching anything. Like they already started making fake meat. That right there, I knew before I actually heard of it. I already felt like they was making fake meat.
Mm.
That was one reason I didn't even want to eat meat no more. Going in the stores, and when you remember 2020 hit COVID, like that's when I kind of noticed how the chicken. I used to get chicken from Walmart. Well, people say you shouldn't do it, but I was getting some of my chicken. I stayed next to Walmart, so it was quicker for me to go over there and get my little chicken. But I noticed how some things just the breast and stuff, it wasn't right. Some just
It wasn't
the
fresh.
meat just right. It wasn't tasting right no more to me. It was just things that wasn't. And they started to take the food prices up and stuff. So I was like during them times, like, okay, it's either me or my kids. So I rather them have the meat than what I'm saying. They still want to eat a little meat than me. So I just kind of it's just kind of basically I've been started my journey slowing down on meat until I've been off meat for almost 2 years now.
That's amazing.
Like
That's
2023 is since 2023 July 2023 was my last time. Well, I was eating fish. I was a vegetarian then. I already moved off everything else. I was a vegetarian during that time. I never even liked seafood or anything, but I just started eating salmon, trying to remove myself off with all the meat, and I went to salmon. Um, and now being in the health community around a lot of people who do different, everybody walk is different. And you can't, that's the thing, you cannot be like the next person. And that's one thing we always try to uphold to. Sometimes I have to pull back some. So I won't have to feel like I'm in competition with nobody. I'm on my own level. And I want other people to be on their own level. You can't just always be in competition. Do what you can do. Sometimes we push ourselves too hard. That's when we fall and go back to the bad foods or whatever, what we shouldn't be doing. So it just pushed me, being in the community, pushed me to do basically go plant-based to a point of trying the fruitarian lifestyle. Right now I'm eating nothing but fruits for real. I may eat veggies here and there, but I haven't really. I only
Right.
ate kale for the last almost 40 days. I may have eaten kale a couple times, but other than that, it's just been fruit and nuts. My macadamia nuts or whatever. And I'm actually waking up now to a point where I'm not even really hungry. Like the last couple days, I haven't been hungry. I just may want something to drink. Like that's it. I want to hydrate. That's it for real. And so today I wouldn't force myself to really eat now. I just ate a couple oranges or whatever.
Right.
But
Right.
I did.
And I and here's the thing though. I'll tell you this. Before I get
Mm-hmm.
to like what I was gonna say, I would
Right.
say I would say grapes from Walmart taste the best because the pesticide add a little bit more flavor. But outside of that, like when I became a vegan and all that,
Yeah.
I pretty much I didn't have to eat that much
Mm-hmm.
because like the food was so like I absorb every part of the food. When you're eating meats and say like General Tso chicken,
Mm-hmm.
there's not much that your the cells in your body can absorb because it's so like
Right.
so it's lack nutrition. That's why people like that eat Chinese food. They get hungry right in 20 minutes after. So the
Why you
reason
say they
the
get
reason with this,
hungry?
yeah,
Why
they
they get
get like
hungry
if
20
you eat
minutes?
Chinese food, if you get Chinese food, you're gonna get hungry like right after. It is what it is. Like and then
Mm.
so what happens when you eat stuff like kale and avocados and fruits and vegetables and all that? It actually acts as the digestive response instead of an immune response. So what happens is
Mm-hmm.
like the cells in your body just absorbs everything to a point where like now your body is telling you, hey, look, I'm full. I don't need anymore. So like you're communicating with your body a lot more instead of just your gut
There
and
you go.
everything. So
There
when
you
they
go.
say it's too expensive and such, it's because their mindset is thinking, hey, look, I need more than lettuce. I need more than
Yes.
tomato. I need more. So
Yes.
they're thinking they're gonna need more than that. But when you
Yeah.
actually get deep into it, you're realizing like you're feeding your mind and your body at the same time to a point where your brain is
Yes.
telling you, hey, look, I don't need any more. I'm satisfied.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, so that's how it is, basically. So now I barely eat. Like I had like a pineapple, like a piece of pineapple the other day. That's all I ate. So I
Yeah.
was good. Like I ain't have to worry about eating crazy like I
That's
used to.
good.
I would have had like five different. I would have had General Toso chicken with shrimp broccoli, shrimp fried rice, two egg rolls. Like if that was the old me. But now I'm just
Yeah.
satisfied with the salad and a piece of pineapple.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
So
the
all
old
that stuff when
me.
they're saying it's too expensive, and when they talk about it's too expensive or whatever, that's BS because they never even tried it in the first place.
You
So how you
right.
know something's too expensive when you never even focused on it in the first place? Basically, you're just thinking like you wanted to eat a lot more, or whatever. So why am I gonna take your advice when you never
Yes.
did it?
Because that's not on their head. You know what I'm saying? That's not the first thing they think of. They mind already somewhere else. So when you got your mind there, it's like that's what you want. But one thing I had to learn is to kind of change my mindset. Even though I want it, I must buy the opposite. So instead of eating a bunch of candy, I used to like junk food and stuff. So instead of eating a bunch of candy, I'm going to eat me some grapes, or watermelon, or something like that to fulfill
Right,
my appetite. And then that craving to be over with after that, because
right.
I'm good now,
Yeah,
shoot, and
oh,
I can
yeah.
eat as much
Oh,
fruit as I want to
right,
with less
right.
calories.
And here's the trick though: you can put a little bit of agave on there if you do have a sweet tooth. Like I mean,
You got that right.
like
Yes.
you can actually put natural sweeteners on
Mm-hmm.
there to like substitute from the artificial sweeteners that we usually eat.
True, and I substitute like my son's syrup with I agave. He's still not eat perfect, but I try to do what I can, so he won't have all that syrupy stuff. Like no, no, no. So
Mm.
yeah, he kind of got hooked on the agave, and I'm glad for that. So we ain't doing all that.
So you sent me some topics, right? Like
I
about
see.
mental health. I like the
Yeah,
mental
mental
health.
health. That was just in my head because the subject that we're on right now, it definitely
Yeah.
it could deal with mental health, and that's what we don't realize in our community, especially our Black community. Like we don't realize what we eat mess with our
Mm.
mental illness. I mean, mess with our mental, and it can create mental illnesses. Don't know why we're going through certain things like depression. Um, what they have, bipolar, schizophrenia. It's all types of diseases, and we we don't really talk about that.
Right. Right.
We stray away from it. We just call people crazy, or don't want to deal with them, or however that go.
I agree. So like, I would tell you this though, like
Yes,
mental health. So if we think about schizophrenia and Alzheimer's is just like they say it's like the last stage of diabetes or something like that. Whatever they talking about, I don't care. But
mm-hmm.
but the way you can get to avoid those situations, because I know it's like a lot of people are suffering from schizophrenia at this moment, and it's because
Yes,
they use a lot of like artificial
artificial
mental and
sweetener.
no,
Mm-hmm.
not just that. Like stuff like weed and heroin, stuff that like will alter your
Yes,
mind.
drugs.
Taking
Oh, most
edibles,
definitely.
taking edibles, taking shrooms and all that to a point where like now your brain is not working on its
Misconstrued.
natural state.
True.
It's pretty much diminishing like the neurons in your brain to a point where like artificial stuff is taking over. So the more you get older, the more
Yeah.
the like stuff, the more the artificial stuff is gonna overpower your actual like neurotransmitters.
Mm-hmm.
So when you grow up, you're gonna start forgetting a lot quicker. You're gonna start seeing things that you haven't seen before, simply because you like tampered with your brain so much. But here's a way you can get out of it.
Yeah.
Avocado is a natural fat that will enhance your brain.
Help the brain.
And even though I'm a vegan, they says like fishy food like tuna and salmon,
Yes.
they're
Yes.
good for the brain too, whatever, to get rid of Alzheimer's and schizophrenia.
Yeah.
Because it
Yeah.
will like actually like cause natural fats or whatever to develop back into the brain basically. So if you
Mm-hmm.
have seizures, eat salmon. If you have schizophrenia, eat avocados. If you have like any type of Alzheimer's or whatever the situation is, eat lion's mane mushroom. Anything that would be enhancing the brain, the
Yes,
fats in the brain basically.
yes. Mushroom. I take mushroom supplements every day. For the last past years, I've been taking it. It definitely helps, especially with your brain, like all that. That's another reason why I make sure I eat certain health foods, because
Mm.
not just my body by itself, but what is my body without a brain?
Right.
And definitely, I watched my grandma basically go through a dementia and Alzheimer. And
Mm.
that was hard to kind of, what I'm saying, watch her go through that at them age, during them stages. And I always said, that's something that I don't want to have to go through.
Right. Right.
And I think since I kind of had to help during her ending stages, it made me really think about life too. And that's not what I want to go through. So that's why I made sure I do what I need to do for my brain. I felt like I was already forgetting a lot of stuff and having brain fogs, and by me having
Mm.
lupus, that definitely create brain fogs. And it's just, I felt like I couldn't remember everything, and my brain just was kind of misconstrued myself. And I'm like, I'm not fit to go through this, and I'm not gonna be having no Alzheimer's, dementia when I get to a certain age. I don't want that. I don't feel like nobody that should have to go through that. And when I
True.
learned that you don't have to go through that, you
Right.
you can eat nuts. You know what I'm saying? Different things like nuts. Like you mentioned about the avocado, you can eat dark chocolate, like you said, mushrooms, all that. They definitely. help aid with your brain, your great brain health. And I make sure
Right.
I do all that daily. Yes,
Right. I
indeed.
mean, I agree, and it's funny. Here's another like there's like another trick to people going through mental health. Because mental health is not just being like retarded. It's not mental health basically.
True.
I apologize for like the I have to blank this out because I'm putting this on YouTube later on. But
Yes.
it's not just having like autism or Down syndrome and everything. Mental illness
Right.
could be stuff uh like Alzheimer's or anxiety and all this other type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like you're in Alabama, right?
Yes.
So the latitude and the longitude in Alabama is 43 and -70. So basically, if you go outside between 3 and 5 o'clock or 4 to 6 o'clock, basically the sun is going to produce the most hydrogen in that area. So if you go outside around that time, like your brain will absorb enough hydrogen to the point where your neurotransmitters will get enough
Wow.
fluid so it can flow a lot quicker. So it will be
Uh-huh.
less likely for you to go through depression. It'll be less likely for you to
Wow.
go through
Mm-hmm.
anxiety if you actually go outside around those times. So if we talk
And you
about
said,
mental
okay,
health,
is that PM right? You said
PM. That's between where the sun is like kind of at its peak or whatever.
yes.
So so if you go from like I guess no, I think it's like from 4 to 6. I believe it's like 4 to 6.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's when the hydrogen is being produced like a lot more
Yes.
on that earth and that area basically. So if you go
Yes.
out there, whatever, your brain is going to absorb enough hydrogen to a point where you're going to have enough vitamin D to like
Mm-hmm.
get rid of certain anxieties and depression and all that. Have you ever been sad? You stayed in the house for like a long period of time, went through depression, and then went
Yeah.
outside, and then you feel static like coming through your eyes or whatever
I
to a
had
point
to
where you
learn
start
that.
feeling this, huh?
Most definitely, I learned that, and that's why I also like to walk a lot too now.
Yeah, and that's because we need that type of sunlight. Like
Yes,
if we stay indoors all the time, we're going
yes,
to like lack vitamin D. We're
you
going
right.
to lack so like we're gonna go through certain stuff or whatever. So we're gonna go through schizophrenia because our brain is not producing enough fluid to flow correctly. So we have
Yes,
to go outside. That's the best way you can get rid of mental illness.
mm-hmm.
Go outside at a certain time. So
Yes,
yeah. But
I
if you don't
definitely
do that,
enjoy it.
but if you don't do that, eat some food like kale and like I said, avocado. That would be good for your health too. But
Yes,
if you can't afford that, y'all broke people or whatever, talk about stuff is too expensive, just go outside in the sun, idiots.
don't eat that meat. But
Yeah,
ain't the
yeah,
hospitals and doctors more expensive though?
yeah.
Them
Crazy,
bills
man.
ain't gonna play with you when you get sick.
Yeah. It's not like, and I haven't gotten sick in years, like in years,
That's
baby.
good.
So it comes to
That,
a point where we have to understand mental health is just as
yes,
valuable with like
most
holistic
definitely.
health and like food wise. I think mental health is more beneficial because the more you develop your mind, the more your
Yeah.
appetite is going to be a lot better.
Yes,
So
true.
yeah,
You got to change your mindset.
right.
Once you start changing that mindset and want better, doing different than what you were doing in your past, your mental, it would definitely help you. Like I used to go through real bad anxiety. I still kind of go through it here and there, but not like it was. I know how to more maintain, I have structure now. So the anxiety, it had to go. So I am here to tell somebody that it can get better because I know what it feels like. I went through it a lot. I went through it worse when I was pregnant with my son, and like I used to wake up in the middle of the night. Just it was terrible. It was definitely terrible, and that's when I kind of really decided to change my lifestyle. After I had my son, that was 2018, December 2018. To about March, sometime in that time, in 2019, I started to go to the gym, change the way I'm living. I started to change what I was listening to, the people I'm around, my environment. Like a lot of stuff had to fully change because sometimes if you still around the same people, it may be hard to change, and when you're trying to change the process. I'm not saying you can't, but it's gonna be probably harder, especially if they doing stuff around you. Like they always want to invite you to these parties or cookouts. You know what I'm saying? I had to learn how to bring my own food. I started bringing my own little fruits, my salad. That's what I'm gonna bring to the cookout too. What you? So they knew they had to start telling, well, let Keela bring the salad or bring the fruits or whatever, because that's what I'm gonna bring. You know, um, I had to stop kind of celebrating them holidays. Yeah, it was times I still probably make the family a ham or whatever, but I won't eat it. I'm not going over to eat, child.
Hold on, hold on. You a full vegan. You baking ham for everybody.
Because like when it was something that you was good at, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
They
right.
kind of want to expect you to probably still make it, even though I tell I'm not, I don't celebrate, but I may make something for y'all if y'all need me to make something for y'all. But that's it, you know. Yeah,
So you
that was one
telling
of
me
my
you
specials.
haven't? So you telling me you haven't licked your lips?
I couldn't do none of it. I used to love me some ham, like I love me some ham for real. But I
But that
realized none of
smell is
that
amazing, though.
good
That
for
smell is
me,
amazing.
huh?
The smell of ham is amazing.
Yes. Put that brown sugar, the pineapple juice, the man. Ooh, it was jumping. Like it was nice for real. So them days was
Nah,
good. And then going around cake, like cake was one of my weaknesses. My sister used to make red velvet cake, all that stuff was my weakness. Like, you can't do this to me.
okay,
But
so here's what
yeah.
here's what we're not going to do. I don't want to get hungry and start eating some velvet cake. So, so it's going from health to be like, yo, damn, that sounds good right now. I'm gonna try a little bit of that. We talk about
Don't
ham
do it.
and velvet cake. Now we're gonna talk about cheesecake and all that ice cream. I'm like, yo, damn,
We ain't gonna
I'm
do
about to.
it. We ain't gonna do it. We ain't gonna do it. We not gonna do it. I still be had one month. I still have my munchies, like, but I can
Yeah,
only eat fruits and stuff like that when I have my munchies, and
right,
you
right,
know.
right. Oh man, that sounds amazing right now. Ham and velvet cake, girl. I'm sorry. Why did you
I'm,
do that? I
I'm trying to mention fruit now. You hear me saying fruit? Go on, get you a sweet watermelon. You know what I'm saying?
got you. I got you. I rock with it. You talk about how you bake it with the brown sugar, and then you talk about the man. Listen, that used to be my Christmas meal right there, man.
Oh yes,
Anyway, mental health,
man.
mental health. Pineapples, grapes, like pesticide. Let's get back into.
I'm
You
thinking
got me
about my
sweating and
baked
all that.
beans I used to make and all that. Like I want it, but I can't eat
Okay,
it.
okay. Yo, you really got me sweating talking about this red velvet cake in his hand. Oh man.
Yes.
Well,
I'm sorry, but
whew,
we have to go through it. But you see how it is. So think about it with how a drug addict. We talk about drug addicts now, but we addicted to food. What is that?
facts. I agree. I agree.
We
Just like
addicted.
sugar
That's
is the most addictive thing on this earth.
yes, yes. That was one of my worst. Like that and bread. I used to love sugar and bread. Like that was my thing, and that's
It was
why I know I gained a lot of weight eating stuff like that. I'd be having a bunch of the Debbie cakes, some Oreos, some ice cream. My breakfast was pancakes with a bacon sausage, eggs. I'm still having me some cereal because I got the munchies too. You know what I'm saying? Like at least I'm eating.
oh my gosh. Yo,
I'm eating.
personally, I think we missed this type of food because we said we were gonna stop talking about it, and then we went right back into it. Like I remember
But
eating
it's
these
showing
little
how
Debbie cakes.
strong we is, though. We strong. We been strong.
I rock with it. I rock with it.
We
I
had to
rock with it.
overcome. This time we had to overcome. See my
Yeah.
picture in the background. You can tell I ate it all. You feel me?
I mean, yeah, I rock with it. I should put my picture in the background too. Like, I mean, all I got is
That'd be
David Banner
good.
and crazy stuff, baby. But yeah,
Yes.
mental health
Like,
though. Mental health.
yes.
No little Debbie's anymore because I'm gonna go
Oh,
to
yeah,
Walmart.
mental health, definitely.
Mental health.
Because it definitely messed up my mental state. Yeah, yeah. Don't eat it now because it definitely will mess with you. And like, if
Yo,
you heard about the artificial dye, like the red dye and all that, that with even with the kids when it comes down to ADHD and all that. We fuss at our kids. We don't know what we wondering what's going on with our kids, but it starts with in the guts, with
Right.
the food they eat.
Right. I agree. I agree. And it's
So
funny
we
because
can't.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, now I just said we can't be beating our kids. You know what I'm saying? We just talking about beating the other day, but
Facts. Facts.
be careful what we feed them.
And yeah, like the fact that you brought that up, right? Beating kids and say anxiety and like all this type of stuff, right?
Yes,
The reason why anxiety take place is because we lost our love for ourselves. Like so,
that
whenever
makes
we,
sense.
whenever we say whenever we get like a heartbreak, like what happens to us? We go through some sort of anxiety. Like
Yes,
whenever we get offended, whenever we get like made fun of or beat or go
yes,
through pregnancy, we get
yes.
some sort of anxiety. You know why? It's because like you're going to say like even with pregnancy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say if you're 16 years old,
Yes.
like you're going through so much pain and so much sickness to a point where your brain is trying to like react to it right away. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's unknown whatever to a point where it stopped what it's doing just to focus on
Right.
that trauma that you're going through. That's going to cause a
Right.
lot of anxiety. Like because now your brain is not focusing on what you love doing or who you love and
Mm-hmm.
all that. It's going to focus on I'm in a lot of pain. Let me take care of this. Same thing
True.
when it comes to abuse, beating the kid. It's gonna be like, I'm not used to this pain. Let me take care of this. Same thing when
Right.
it comes to getting bullied, made fun of, whatever the situation is. Your brain is telling you, I'm not used to this. Let me take care of this. This is where the anxiety takes place because your emotions want to take focus on your passions and what you love, but your brain is
Yeah.
telling you, no, we gotta take care of this real quick. So now a part of your brain is clashing with the other part of your brain to a point where you're going to go through a bunch of crazy stuff. It's because you're losing a lot of like you're putting your love to the side to focus on your pain basically. So like
Yes.
now you're going to go through anxiety attacks because you want to go to your purpose, whatever, but it's stopping.
True.
So the more you start loving yourself, the less likely you'll go through anxiety. This is why you're going through less anxiety now.
Mm-hmm.
So like so I personally think we all have to like understand that anxiety is just based off of how you feel about yourself or whatever, and how can you cure yourself. 'Cause that's one of the easiest things you can get rid of. Find your passion, find what you love about yourself, find everything that you're like that will be beneficial to you. And I
True.
guarantee you you'll go through less anxiety.
Yes, that's true. I had to learn that. I used to think that I didn't have no gifts, no skills, no talents back then. I remember always asking my mom, I sit there and talk to her like, why this, why that? You know what I'm saying? I just
Right,
couldn't catch on and like she couldn't really respond to me, like she didn't know. Um
right,
and I don't think I knew kind of I'm just smoking my is that pain away, anxiety away, thinking I'm smoking it away, it ain't going away, So we pick up another one or whatever. Just like I was picking up food because of my what I'm saying, mental or whatever. When you're going through anxiety or depression or stress, you picking up something and put in your mouth to just calm you down. Cause as a baby, what we do, they stick a bottle in our mouth, right? You know what I'm
right,
saying? So it's a pacifier in our mouth. They do, and it starts that dang. It kind of
right.
starts there. That's where it started a lot. So we think we got to take something and
Yeah,
not knowing, just like you said, going outside, exercising. You know, doing that type of stuff can release the stress. It can fulfill like the serotonin is, if I'm saying the word correctly.
serotonin.
You
There it is.
say it again.
Serotonin. Serotonin. There it is.
Serotonin. Okay, y'all forgive me with these words because I'm
No, it's
very
all good. It's all good.
okay, so like doing, like you said, natural things, whether it's yoga, what I'm doing here, this podcast, it helps me. I wasn't always able to speak. I used to be shy. Just
Mhm.
like it's a lot I wouldn't do, but
Right.
it helps
Right.
me as I go on. Doing making my whether it was making my products, learning something new. I always learning the skills. So I just started like in 2020 when everybody was going through with COVID. That was my success time right there.
Yeah.
Like I knew how to make $1 out of dime. Yeah,
Right.
when that little check thing hit, they were getting everybody or whatever because everybody was
Yeah.
getting laid off. I mean, whatever going on that year with COVID, we had to stay in. I took my little money and I invested like with sea moss and all that, my health, because everybody was getting sick. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie.
Right, right.
So using my sea moss and all that, it definitely helped me mentally, because I'm like, okay, I thought I didn't have skills this whole time. I was able to help teach my kids, they skills and they talents, whether they still use them or not. But as a mother, that's what I did, as to keep them from getting depressed,
Mhm.
going through different things as teenage stages. I definitely like they was learning all types of activities at home.
I,
Um,
I feel, but I do have a question for you though.
yes.
Like, when did you realize your anxiety was going away?
When did I realize? Um, I think I kind of realized maybe like a year after I had my son, or basically during the time I was working out. I started like when I'm in my meditation stages or whatever, and I'm always listening to motivational speakers. That's one thing I cannot do. I can't just sit around and not listen to nothing positive. Or my mind will start racing and I'm thinking about this, and it's just repetitive, the same thing, over and over again. So once I start like listening to my favorite motivational speeches or people that I listen to daily, um, it's kind of like having a spiritual coach or something. And that's what I always kind of do. I always have to listen to somebody that's not just anybody, but I have to listen to somebody positive. Either where I'm trying to go that can teach me about, whether it's finances, whether it's about spiritual life, anything, whatever. Just something important. Um I'm not out there listening to all that craziness like rap killing. Not always listening. Y'all may hear a few songs here and there, but I really don't listen to too much nothing for real. But not out there just trying to shake my head. Just I ain't gotta do all that.
Take your, hey, what the what?
I ain't want to say the word. What I'm
Take
saying?
your
I
ass.
ain't out there doing all this and that. I don't have to. Been there, done that. That's not something I have to do.
Right,
I don't have to be out there clubbing for my, because then we drinking and that's messing up our mental health first. So,
right, right. I agree. I agree, and it's crazy because like, swear anxiety, man. Anxiety is so easy. And I'm sorry to say this, but this shows how much a lot of black people, well, like a lot of people in general, they just don't look into themselves. They're so focused on work. They're focused on what other people are thinking. They're focused on their
yeah,
relationships and all that. To a point where all you have to do when it comes to anxiety is think about yourself. If people say
got
that
you.
you're like, so people talk about you're being selfish if you think about yourself, fuck you. It is what it
And
is.
that's what I used to think. That's what I used to think for real.
Mm. Just yeah. So like, it comes to a point where like, let me be a nerd real quick. Oxytocin. Like oxytocin is developed when somebody physically touch you, whatever, say sex or just like a massage or like just being comfort,
Mm-hmm.
like cuddling, like holding on the teddy
Yes.
bear. Oxytocin is being released there. Serotonin. You can
Mm-hmm.
get compliments. Like give you like say I say you look nice. You look very nice today. Like
Yes.
it
Thank
will
you.
release serotonin. It will
You
release
right.
serotonin basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like say dopamine, right? That's more of an
Yes.
addictive situation though. Like do certain stuff that you are passionate about. That's a form of
Yes.
addiction. Like do something
Yes.
that you enjoy doing. Do something that you love doing. That's a form of addiction or
Helping
whatever. See?
somebody.
Yeah, so all you gotta do is greet people, like have manners, and just pretty much like take care of your body or whatever. Like hold on to something that you love. Like hug a tree. Idiot. Like do
Yeah, I've
whatever.
heard that.
Like
I haven't tried it yet, but yeah.
like yeah, go. It's so simple. Go outside to the sun or whatever. Like just like absorb the sunlight. Hug a tree while you at it. Give
Yes.
a person a compliment. I guarantee you're gonna be happy by the end of the year. Like you're not gonna worry
Yes.
about anxiety. You're not gonna worry about any of this other type of stuff. And the more you
Yes.
focus on yourself and like being nice to others, I
Mm-hmm.
guarantee you all that stuff will go away, basically. Because not only if you give a compliment to one person, the person that's listening to it next to you is gonna
Mm-hmm.
feel that same energy to a point where it's gonna release serotonin in that person too. Unless it's a
Right.
jealous boyfriend or whatever, and they're gonna like they're gonna feel upset and all that and try to whoop your ass. That's a totally different situation. Then you have to leave that person alone. But just if you see somebody and you say, "Oh, you look nice today" or whatever, that next person is gonna hear it too, because the words are
Yes.
gonna manifest within them
Yes.
too, baby. So it's gonna
Yes.
release serotonin in the whole group. If you smile, smile releases like smiling releases mirror neurons. Mirror
Yes.
neurons releases serotonin. Serotonin decreases cortisol in your body. So if you
Hmm.
look at all this type of stuff, it just takes compliments and going outside and hugging something. But
Yes.
nobody want to do that. We want to complain about life.
You right.
So yeah,
You
that's where
definitely
the
right.
addictions take place. That's where the addictions take place. Addictions take place when love is diminished. So you have to
Yeah.
substitute that thing somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. That's why there's some idiots out here. Go eat
You
a fruit,
right.
hug a tree. Damn it,
You right. You
swing,
definitely
man.
right.
Now I'm
You
sitting
ain't.
here thinking about some damn red velvet cake. Like, listen, man. That's why I'm pissed off right now. Like I want to teach, but I want a red velvet cake right now. I'm just playing with you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you're right. But for real, we definitely have to think on a different level. It's so many positive things. We just feel like we got to do the same thing as society do. What we see our homeboys doing, homegirls doing, our family members doing, work people we work with. We think we just have to fit in. You do not have to always fit in. I never was a person to really fit in, to be honest. Like I always kind of been outside the box, like so even when it comes down to like hanging around a bunch of people, I just don't do it. I may talk on this
Mm,
online stuff, but as far as being around a crowd, I like to be by myself most of the time. For real. So being by myself, it helps me. And people don't realize it'll help you because once you're around so many people, they can help change your mind. And most of the time it be in a negative way, a bad way. And you're not even realizing that they really giving you bad energy. You know what I'm saying? And I
right.
don't need no bad energy around me, like all that negative, and that mess with your mental health because you ain't even you no more. You thinking like other people think. You doing what other people say do. And that used to be me. And so I know like all that can play a part in your mental health. You know, y-
There you
listen to
go.
what somebody else listen to what somebody else tell you to do.
Facts. Facts.
Hmm.
And this is what like I taught myself, right? Like
Yes,
I have to sound like I have to sound a little bit arrogant because I think we need to praise ourselves too. We talk about praising people like Floyd Mayweather and Chris Brown, but we can't praise ourselves.
yeah, yeah,
Hey,
we
yeah, come
should
on.
give
But
ourselves credit for sure.
right, but here's the thing though. I legit taught myself how not to talk without substance. Like whenever I'm talking, I either try to make you laugh, teach you something, or learn something. Nothing
Yes.
else.
Yes.
I don't talk about oh I went fishing the other day or I like cars. Have you like we only known each other for like a little bit. We only know each other for a little while, right? When have you seen,
Ooh.
when have you like heard me talk about just pointless shit?
You're right. That made a lot of sense, especially when you mentioned about cars. That definitely what broke me away from really talking with my son father because that's all I was hearing. Cars this, car. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
Yeah.
all your mind on. Like that kind of started dying to me, and it was like, okay, I realized like, this ain't right. I can't talk to him every day. You know what I'm saying? Because you listen to what this person's saying, and that's all you hear all the time. Like, do you think about anything else? Do you study something? You know what I'm saying? What are you doing?
And that's the crazy part though. Like, cause me, like I like Pokemon. Like I like playing Pokemon. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Forget you. Like I was about to say F you or whatever, but not you in general. But
Right.
I love Pokemon. But I'm not gonna sit there and talk to you about
Yes.
Pokemon if you don't
Yes.
care about Pokemon. I leave that
Yes.
to myself because that's my own passion. That's what I enjoy. So I'm not gonna
Yeah.
put my passion or whatever into everybody else, expect everybody else to
True.
think it. So like,
True.
why would you walk into the reason why I'm saying this is because this is why like a lot of people don't trust anybody because
Mm-hmm.
they don't really know if they know that person basically. Like
Yes.
say if I talk to you, right? I ask you a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
If I just talk about Pokemon or whatever, how much would you trust me to actually build with me basically? Like if I just talk
I
about
get
Pokemon
bored.
and wrestling
I
matches
wouldn't
and all.
even. That's something I couldn't even, you know what I'm saying, be on the stage. I mean, by you telling me something like that is fine, but like you said, if you talking all day about it, I'm gonna be like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, this ain't gonna work. It definitely ain't gonna work. Somebody
right.
probably ain't gonna want to hear about me talking about health all day. You know what I'm saying? That's something that I like to do, but I'm not gonna sit here and bore. You know what? This is a subject, but you know, like I'm just saying, on any other occasion, I can't sit there and talk about that the entire time because just because it's my passion, it may not be your passion. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. And that's the crazy thing. Like the problem with like a lot of people, they have one passion that they just focus on, but yet our brain is so wide to a point where we don't even open it up. So we talk
yeah,
about cars simply because that's all we want. Like we've been
that's all you
stagnated to a
want.
point where we don't utilize our brain enough. See, I'm into Pokemon, right? But I'm also
Yes,
into psychology. I'm also
yes.
into conversations. I'm also into like boxing and
Mm-hmm.
football and I'm into a bunch of stuff, whatever, to a point where like I can utilize my brain and talk to anybody. And
Yes.
the more I utilize my brain, the more I can understand other people.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. So say if you do want to talk about health, I can build with you with health. Say if somebody do want to talk about cars, I can build with you with cars. Football, hip hop, I can build with you on that. But a lot of people
Yes.
just so focused on one thing because anxiety mess up our brains.
Yes.
Anxiety pretty much throw everything off to a point we just have to focus on that one thing that pretty much was developed before our trauma started.
Yes.
Every, like, and it's funny because when you're pregnant, right? When you're at age 16 and you're pregnant and you go through a bunch of trauma, a bunch of PTSD, your brain will stop to a point where,
Mm-hmm.
like, when you start growing up, your
Yeah.
brain will remain at age 16 to a point
Mm-hmm.
where, like, whatever you learned at that age, that's all you think about. To a point, like, you have to start becoming vegan or start working out, start doing certain stuff that, like, that's unnatural to you so you can actually develop your brain, like, a lot quicker. But if you don't
Yeah.
do that, you're gonna stay 16. You're gonna stay 17. You're gonna stay talking about cars. You're gonna stay talking about sex. You're gonna stay talking about a bunch of stuff that you just learned at that age.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yes. I understand exactly what you're saying right there. Like, for real, because it's crazy. And that'll make you depressed to hear somebody sit there and talk about it the whole time. It just made me realize, okay, you know what? I know this ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? I
yeah,
know he ain't going nowhere in his mind. Like, no, because ain't no way you know you got a family out here and stuff. You got your son and you talking about cars and trucks the entire time. Like
yeah,
that,
yeah,
that and and then when you start to think that that's gonna be something for your child as they get older, like I know your mindset messed up. You know what I'm saying? Forgive me if he ever see or somebody tell him about this video, but I'm just being for real. You can't say,
yeah.
okay, this cars and trucks for my son when he get older. That's
Right,
you
right,
know
right,
that mindset like that. Come on now, like
right.
a
I
child ain't
agree.
even gonna want that with.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, they ain't even thinking about that. That's rust and stuff. It's gonna be rusty and you know, tell you
fact.
what else. So when you on that type of level, it's very immature to be honest.
Well, I tell you this though, it sounds bad that that it's immature, but it is immature if you're only focusing on that. Like even like
Yeah.
the old people that just focus on fishing, that's still very immature. Because this is why I like a lot of parents like they don't bond with their children because they don't want to go outside with their children. They don't want to play around with their children basically. So they let the
Mhm.
kids go on their laptop or their tablets while they sit
Yeah.
there and do crossword puzzle. I don't know what these old people do, crossword puzzle or whatever. Like watch their
Uh-huh.
stories and all that. Nah, you have to build with your kids. Like
Yeah.
you have to like parents are so focused on teaching their kids to a point where we don't understand the kids know a lot more about us than we know about them. So why
Yeah.
not we go out there or whatever and learn what they know? Because
Mm-hmm.
like it's a whole new world or whatever. Like, and the more we bond with them, the more they're gonna develop like a happiness and like
True.
like loving for themselves and all that. But
True.
we're so deep into depression or whatever. We want our child to go through depression too because our brain is at a limit.
Yes.
So like yeah, it just comes to a point where we want to have a crabs in the barrel mentality, whatever. So if we go through anxiety, you go through anxiety. If we go through depression, you go through depression. But if you open up your mind, you're willing to learn everything about it. You're willing to
Yes.
learn everything about nature, your kids, or whatever the situation is.
Yes. True, we have to be willing to open up our minds. That's why I say I'm gonna be forever learning. I don't never want to think that I know it all, and that's what that mindset had to stop at to think I just know it all. Even when it comes down to
Mm,
the Bible, I can't think I know it all. So I'm just saying, like, you can't always think you know it all about whatever it is. When it comes down to even with health, I can't sit here and say, I know it all. I'm still learning. So
right, right,
as long as you steady learning things and never just cut it off from like, I don't need to know. I don't need to know this. You
right.
know, they not trying to grow. You know what I'm saying? No, they're not
Facts.
trying to grow. So mentally, like it's very important. It got a lot to do with health. Um, like I said, your brain. It can even kill you. Stress can kill you.
Wow.
It killed a lot of people.
Hell yeah.
Um, it can definitely kill you because you know what I'm saying when it leads to stress, it can lead to heart conditions, strokes, all that, and you're
Right,
harming your body. Like stress can like bring out like I have lupus and it can flare up conditions, my health conditions or whatever. So
right,
I have to be careful when it comes down to stress. I have to try to stay away from that type of thing. So I'm always trying to do something positive to keep myself on track because if I'm not, my mind would get negative. I'd be crying, depressed, you know what I'm saying?
right.
Like doing all types of things. Sometimes some people use shopping to help with their depression. Some people use sex to help with their depression. Some people use drugs to help with their depression. You know what I'm saying? People use all types. People use anything for their depression except what they need to use.
Facts. Facts. I agree. I agree. And
Hmm.
speaking of, you're doing one thing that I believe a lot of people should do. Yoga. Like
Yeah,
I know you're big on yoga or whatever, but like when it comes to stress, I gotta be a
yeah.
nerd again. Cortisol is being released when you're stressed out, right? So the more
Hmm.
cortisol is being released, the more your muscles start to tense up. And if
Yes,
your muscles start to tense up, and it's crazy, if your muscles start to tense up, whatever, and you fall asleep, your muscle stays that way. This is why when you wake up, like
yeah,
you're in pain or whatever, because your body is relaxed, but your muscles like are like expanded to a point where it's like mad. It's like
yes,
pissed, whatever. So basically, like when you wake up, have you ever been like, shit, my back, like or
yeah.
whatever?
Oh,
Like
really?
yeah,
Yes, I have been.
yeah. So it comes to a point where like we have to like do yoga or whatever because what happens
Hmm.
is cortisol will decrease. Like
Yes.
your posture will get better or whatever to a point where your
Hmm.
like blood start flowing correctly. Like
True.
now, like cortisol's being less used, testosterone is being developed, and all that to a point where you're going to feel better. Like you're gonna feel more flexible. You're gonna feel happier simply
Yes.
because your body is less tense and all that. So the moment
Hmm.
you go through anxiety, have you ever? Okay, I do this when I go through some sort of anxiety, whatever. I'll be like I have to stretch. I have to stretch whatever simply because like I know that my body is just pretty much uh like feeling unnatural. And that's a
Yes.
natural cause basically, because if you do go to sleep upset, you're going to age. You're gonna get older. So now when you see somebody going through depression, you see them like flipping like this, whatever, it's simply
Yes.
because they like let the cortisol take over their body. Now their body is slanted.
Wow.
So yeah, so I mean, that's how it is, but my battery is dying too, man.
I understand. I understand that. We can always do a part two.
We
Yes,
gotta do a part two because we only focus on red velvet cake and mental health. I love the conversation though.
it was good. It was definitely good. So we'll definitely
Yeah.
finish that off. Yes. So it was great.
Right. I'm at
All right.
4%. Man. Hey.
All right then. We'll go log off.
I got you.
How you log?